Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. I really, really appreciate you coming on today's show. And without delaying so much, I will actually want us to dive into today's show. So, this show is Marriage a Hard Work. It's actually started to help educate our young adults out there who are looking forward to get married one day, and also to educate the people that are already married to let them know that this is how they can do it and this is what marriage is all about. But to start this today, I actually want to know what you think, sir. What do you think about marriage? What is your opinion about marriage? And do you actually think marriage is a hard work? Over to you, Mr. Michael. Thank you, sir.
Hey, good evening, all our listeners, our viewers across the world. Yeah, first and foremost, I want to appreciate our host for bringing me to this platform where we can share our experience, we can share our little knowledge based on experience that we have had over the years. And one of the most controversial institution that we are in is marriage.
Hmm.
And a lot of marriage are in chaos. As much as we have a lot of marriage in trouble, in problem, so as much we have so many other marriages that are blissful, interesting, sweet,
Hmm.
and good, depending on what each and everybody is facing.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for that question. And I believe from my personal opinion that that question is it has to do with personal experience. The reason why I'm saying that is because the the way marriage is affecting me is different from the way marriage is affecting someone else.
Hmm.
Marriage to people differs. So basically, I am going to use mine as my case study and then pick from one or two other people that are around me, which I've been able to see how their marriage works.
Hmm.
We'll pick our examples from people who marriages collapsed, people who
Hmm.
are having a very, very beautiful and glittering marriage.
Wow.
Now, let me start like this. Marriage is very, very beautiful. And
Wow.
if I really have to say,
Hmm.
marriage is a work. I
Wow.
don't know from the perspective you're picking it if marriage is a hard work,
Hmm.
depending on each and every individual's perspective. The
Hmm.
marriage is a work.
Wow.
Now, because of my religious belief, I am a
Hmm.
Christian, and the
Hmm.
Bible made me to understand
Hmm.
that two people cannot work together except
Hmm.
there is an agreement.
Hmm.
So now, if you are working, the work in this context is responsibility.
Hmm. Hmm.
Responsibility, I mean, is
Hmm.
two of you must
Hmm.
contribute, two of you must give
Hmm.
in, two of
Hmm.
you must put one or two things for it to work.
Hmm.
Now, let's look at it from this angle.
Hmm.
My own experience. At
Hmm.
the early stage of my marriage,
Hmm.
I already had a decision in my mind. I made
Hmm.
up my mind on something.
Hmm.
And I want the younger generation,
Hmm.
the younger adults,
Hmm.
to learn from
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
There are several marriages that has crumbled before
Hmm.
it started.
Wow.
So many people have seen the end of their marriage even right from the beginning.
Wow.
Why did I say this? You will see so many people,
Hmm.
especially men or possibly
Hmm.
women when they're alone. And you
Hmm.
will see them, they are so determined that if this happens in my marriage, this is going to be the end of it. They
Wow.
already concluded the end of that marriage from the beginning of the marriage. The only thing they do is the moment this and this happens in my marriage, then this is going to be the end. It means you're already setting a time bomb
Wow.
for that marriage. It means that marriage cannot stand the test of time.
Hmm.
There is nothing that has never happened in marriage.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, going back to my own perspective, my decision when my marriage was young, I already made up my mind
Hmm.
that come what may in my marriage,
Hmm.
no matter what happens,
Hmm.
divorce, separation is not in the dictionary of this marriage. So I
Wow.
told my wife, listen to this. No matter what happens in this marriage,
Hmm.
we must find a
Hmm.
balance.
Hmm.
There must be an equilibrium, a point where we will have to settle. I don't know
Hmm.
what is going to cost us. No matter what it costs,
Hmm.
there must be settlement.
Hmm.
But we have issues these days why so many marriages are broken.
Hmm.
That is what I said earlier. So
Hmm.
many people already put a time bomb
Hmm.
on their marriage, saying if this happens, if this happens, then the marriage is coming to an end. But in my own
Hmm.
experience, there is no perfect marriage. Let me tell you that. Now, from my father's house, I may not be able to say it directly in my dialect, but let me
Hmm.
just say it like this. This
Hmm.
is the interpretation of what I want to say.
Hmm.
It says like this: for 20 years, you have had siblings, you never had a wife.
Hmm.
What does this mean? It means that there are people that I've lived with all my life.
Hmm.
It means that there is a way I have lived my life.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
means that there is an environment that I've been used to
Hmm. Hmm.
before I got married.
Hmm.
Now, going back to the quote I said from the Bible that says, can two work together except they be agreed? When I got married, it means I need to work. It means I need to put a lot of things in place. My wife was never a member of my household.
Hmm.
She was never my sister.
Hmm.
She has never been related to me.
Hmm.
I have never seen any of her characters.
Hmm.
It means I am entering into a new world differently. That is where the issue of work starts from. That is where the issue of responsibility starts from. We will have to work. I am not a good man. My wife is not a good woman.
Hmm.
I am not perfect. My
Hmm.
wife is not perfect. So
Hmm.
these are two imperfect people coming together.
Hmm.
Now we have people with different temperaments. You're married, you keep complaining about the temperament of your spouse. Yes,
Hmm.
everybody is complaining.
Hmm.
You have to complain about one thing or the other. And if you see the reason why you have to complain is to make things work. So
Hmm.
many people complain because they want to put an end to a thing. But so
Hmm.
many people also complain because they want to make such thing work.
Hmm.
That is where hard work, if I want to accept from your perspective, will come in. There are some things that are difficult for you as a man or as a woman. You will not be able. It will not be easy for you. But because of the sacrifice you have to put into the marriage to make it work, you will have to let go. The experience of 20, 25 years, 30 years without marriage, when you get married within the space of years, you will have to work with it and let it go. So it comes with hard work.
Hmm.
It comes with decisions that it will come with pain. Sometimes you will be forced to make some pronouncements. If not because I love you, that's a
Hmm.
condition. For marriage that works, it is always conditional. I
Hmm.
have seen people that have stayed in marriage because of their children.
Hmm.
People have stayed in marriage because of the circumstances.
Mm.
People have stayed in marriage because of love. People
Mm.
have stayed in marriage because they made up their mind. For
Mm.
every marriage that works,
Mm.
it is a personal decision, not a collective decision.
Wow.
If
I'm gonna.
you make up your mind that my
Mhm.
marriage is not going to collapse, no
Mm.
matter what,
Mm.
regardless of what my partner does, I will make it work.
Mm.
If your partner
Mm.
sees your efforts, your
Mm.
partner will
Mm.
want to make it work.
Mm.
Because why? If the agreement is from the beginning, and then don't forget, when you love,
Mm.
you will let go of so many things
Wow.
for the sake of love. Permit me to continue like this. With my little experience,
Mm.
sometimes when your marriage becomes two figures, maybe 10 years and above,
Mm.
you will discover that there's a lot of tests that will begin to come.
Mm.
How does this test happen? Challenges, responsibilities, and a
Mm.
lot of environmental issues will begin to test your marriage.
Wow.
When you're married,
Wow.
you discover that, fine, my wife, we eat the same thing, little, we are fine. The first child come in, the second one comes in, possibly maybe the third one.
Mm.
And then you discover that the head of the man becomes bigger. When you say it physically, it's still the same. The
Mm.
inside of that head, the head is bigger because the man wants to meet up. So
Mm.
pressure starts.
Mm.
A man that you don't is not used to nagging,
Mm.
after a while, you discover that the environmental circumstances will begin to make that man nag. As a woman, you need to work. What do I mean by you need to work?
Mm.
You need to see your
Mm.
man that
Mm.
this and this are the reason. This is a man that does not do this before.
Mm.
He's now doing this. What could possibly be the reason? For a woman to make a marriage work, she needs to put a serious work into it.
Mm.
But the women of these days, I'm sorry to say this, they are lazy. Internet, social media, different stories, different journals and books. People have
Oh,
read it and they have taken marriage to be like a soap opera.
soap opera.
Marriage is not a bed of roses. It
Okay.
may be funny, but marriage is not a bed of roses.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes I'll use mine as an experience, as an example.
Hmm.
Men will go through a lot of things. It is not
Hmm.
all men goes through on a daily basis that they can share. As a man, you have to have an observer. And when you have such observer, a lot of things will run through your veins, your head, your
Hmm.
memory. Because why? You are the head of your family and you really need to protect them, starting from your wife. So you keep quiet and want to digest it.
Hmm.
Possibly you just have a dinner, you have a shower, you come to bed, and maybe your wife is having a good time. Just you should understand the way women does. And your body is not in that category. On so many occasions, women will tell you, where are you coming from? Have you seen that woman? Have you done something? Are you this? Are you that?
Hmm.
There's a man. You keep quiet.
Hmm.
Later, because she deserves an explanation,
Hmm.
if you gently explain to her, this is what is running in my system,
Hmm.
she would understand. Don't let me deceive
Hmm.
you. This happens virtually in all working marriages. All
Hmm.
working marriages. Every partner we have issues. There will be times the wife is not in the mood. There will be times the husband
Hmm.
will not be in the mood. It's different looking at
mm,
the economic environment that everybody belongs. I stay in
mm,
Nigeria, so I will
mm,
judge my life, my experience
mm,
based on my environmental experience.
mm,
Nigeria is a very good country to live in.
mm.
Nigeria is very beautiful, but because of the environmental issue and economic issue, we are tensed up.
Mm,
So you can't determine what you're going to see or
mm,
face on a daily basis. So every day is new.
mm,
Nothing is guaranteed.
mm,
So in that wise, your wife
mm,
or your husband need to understand. Because if you don't understand, one of the major issues that breaks home
mm,
is comparison.
mm,
Comparison in a sense
mm,
that so many people compare themselves with themselves.
mm,
And just as I've said, the Bible
mm,
says, they
mm,
that compare themselves with themselves are unwise. There are no
mm,
two same marriages on earth.
mm,
No two same marriages. But because some people will wear suits, they wear them out in the public, they smile, they laugh, you think that marriage is perfect. No
mm,
marriage is perfect. But
mm,
everybody will put a huge and a lot of work into it.
mm,
Make it beautiful to your own taste.
mm,
I will not make my marriage beautiful to your taste.
mm, mm,
It is to my own taste.
mm.
So,
That's a
from that statement, that is marriage a hard work? Yes, yes, and yes. It depends on who is ready to do the job. Thank you.
wow, 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 wow. I wanted to actually talk, but I was just talking myself in the word of wisdom that you were saying, and I didn't want to cut you short. I just wanted to flow. That was a lot of word of wisdom, sir. Thank you so much. But I'm going to
Thank
pick you
you.
up on some things that you said. So, technically, what you're saying is that number one thing that makes marriages work is determination. That both
Sure,
people
definitely.
involved in the marriage, they must come into the marriage prepared. That's what you said, sir. And another thing you said is that even God Himself told us from the beginning that marriage is a work. Marriage requires work, but maybe it's a hard work or not, but there must be something that the both party involved must bring to table. They must work. And I think a lot of our young adults out there, they don't know this. Even myself, when I was getting married, I didn't know it requires all this big work. And I know that our mothers out there, they used to tell us, bring your spouse. Who are you dating? But they don't sit us down to tell us the fundamental rudiments of marriage, what marriage actually requires. They don't sit us down to tell us that by the time you get married, you have to dedicate your all. You are not only taking over, you are not only taking care of your husband, you're taking care of your kids, you're taking care of your husband's family, you're taking care of everything around you, including yourself. These are things they don't tell us. When, for instance, a girl or a lady of marriageable age in Africa don't know how to cook, what the parents or the mom will tell her is, oh, you will meet your own, you will meet it. But they don't tell us the fundamental, but they do, they are quick to want to send us out there to go marry. I think this marriage of a thing is a scam. Because if it is not a scam, our adults, elders, they should have called the younger adults down.
Mrs. Celia, let me just come in with this. Maybe it will be the concluding story.
Okay, sir.
Now, I don't see marriage to be a scam from my
Mm.
perspective. Now, marriage is the only institution. Now, why am I saying what I want to say is because I have seen a lot of people
mm,
that have said before you get married, you have to read a lot of books, you
mm,
have to watch a lot of movies, you have to
mhm,
listen to a lot of testimonies. All
mhm,
these things are good and beautiful. I am not condemning it.
mm,
But listen to me. Marriage is the only institution that
mm.
you start as a graduate.
Wow.
Every institution that I have seen in life,
Mm,
you
mm,
will have to study before you are given the degree.
mm,
The marriage that you have not
mm,
tested,
mm,
you have
mm,
not started,
mm,
as you are going into it, they have awarded you the degree.
mm,
So what's there? What is there
mm,
again to come and learn? Everything you learn before you get married, you will unlearn them and relearn them.
mm, mm,
Because the
mm,
only experience you are going to see in your marriage is your own experience.
mm,
Every book you have read, every
mm,
movie you have watched, every
mm,
testimony you have listened to, they may never fit into your own marriage. And you will
mm,
discover that your marriage may look like an isolated marriage. That is
mm.
where the work starts from. It is
So,
now you who have determined that can make it work. Because
mm,
the book we have read,
mm,
maybe the wife is a quiet wife. The
mm,
movie you have watched, maybe the wife is a nagging wife.
mm,
But your own wife is neither nagging nor quiet.
mm,
What are you going to do in that situation? That is where it requires a lot of work,
mm,
determination. Make sure this that I'm putting my hands, I am putting my mind, I am putting my head, I am putting my life, it must work for me. So if you make up your mind, it will work for you. There are still many beautiful marriages out there. Listen, all this internet, no marriage, marriage is scam, marriage is this, is hard. Marriage is not hard if you determine it. I want to enjoy my marriage, and that is it. It doesn't mean we don't fight. It doesn't mean I don't get angry, take my shirt, leave the house for a while. I leave the house because I want to get it cooled down. The
mm.
moment it is cooled down, I go back to the basis. I will never lose my marriage for any reason.
Thank you so
Thank
much, sir.
you.
So, what you're saying in essence is that number one, marriage requires a lot of hard work.
A lot of it.
And the second thing you're trying to say is that marriage also requires determination. If not,
Definitely,
hmm.
definitely.
So, what can we now say about our young adults out there? Because a lot of people are not ready to put in any hard work. A lot of people think marriage is bed of roses. A lot of people don't think beyond the day of the celebration. A lot of people just walk into marriage naive. They don't even know what it requires. So, how can we help people like this? I think we should have more of our adults at least pour out into the younger adults to let them know what they are going into so that if they need time to learn, they can learn. And if they need time to unlearn, they can unlearn. If not, I think it's just going to look like a fairy tale, like a scam. Because a lot of our young adults out there, they don't know what they are going into. A lot of them are just focused on the one day, the marriage celebration, and they don't know the rudiment of what is behind it. And that is why I take my own conclusion that I think this marriage of a thing is a scam because it requires a whole village to raise a child. And I think our parents should not just be pushing the young adults, they should sit them down and let them know what they are going into. And I think if someone know that, oh, I'm not ready to put in this work, they shouldn't just go into marriage to add to the statistic of divorce out there. And I think our parents should have more of this talk so that our young adults will not be shocked and they will not just think that, oh, this thing is a scam. I didn't bargain for this. I didn't expect this. I just think it's going to be bed of roses. What do you think, Mr. Michael, before I leave it over to our viewers at home to digest on what we've talked about today?
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Cecilia. I I want to concur with you, but not 100%. Fine, we have issues. Most of marriages in our age now are working. So many
Hmm.
of them. But the younger marriages are the ones crumbling.
Hmm.
Where is the problem? The problem is not about our parents. The
Hmm.
problem is about us.
Hmm.
We are the ones that are not really showing what we are going through, our determination to the younger generations.
Hmm.
We are the pretenders.
Hmm.
We are the ones that will get angry in the house and then dress up. When you see people outside, behave like everything is perfect. When our fathers were growing, they were not pretending.
Hmm.
So they made us to see where it's working and where it's not working. So we
Hmm.
learned a lot from them. But now, what we have learned from them, we are
Hmm.
not letting the younger generation learn from us.
Hmm.
We tell them a lot of cock and bull story. A lot of cock and bull story. It is our generation that is connecting the older generation and the younger generation. We are the ones that we eat something different and then we post something different on the internet.
Wow.
And then this younger generation copied us and they took it from us, they outblown it, and everything is out of it.
Wow. So you think the social
So
media would?
I just feel, I just feel that laziness, laziness, lack of commitment is the reason why several marriages are not working.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir. You really, really, really poured us so much word of wisdom today. Wow. So the internet is also part of the devices that crumbles marriage. And you also think that if the older couples can actually come out and help our younger adults who are not married and even people that are married and tell them their own experience, that will help this generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every marriage that is more than 15 years
Mm.
should come out and speak about
Mm.
their challenges and how
Yeah.
they have been able to overcome them.
Wow.
It will help this younger generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I really, really appreciate you today. Thank you for
Thank
coming on
you.
this show today to share your word of experience with us. And viewers at home, you've heard a lot from my guest today. He has talked to us about marriage. The marriage requires a hard work. The marriage requires determination. Marriage requires you knowing from the beginning that this, we have to make it work. Commitment. And also, he talked to us about not looking at what is going on the social media and the people that have been married for a longer time to come out and educate our younger adults, even the people that are married, that are having challenges in their marriage, so that they can know that marriage is not bed of roses. It requires two people that are not perfect coming together from two different backgrounds, making this work and having the determination, even before the marriage starts, that they must work. Thank you so much, my brother, Mr. Michael Omalagba, all the way from Nigeria, for dishing out this words of wisdom today. I really,
All
the
right.
viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. We've had a lot from Mr. Michael, and I hope you are able to take one or two things. And most especially to our young adults there, please watch this video, share it, and also know that marriage requires a hard work, as our guest today has said. Thank you. Until next time, when I come your way, it's still your girl, Cecelia Ho, and I'll see you next week. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed day. I love you all. Bye for now.
Thank you.